my name is Adam and welcome back to my channel where I make a tabletop role-playing game from scratch on camera. And we're working on some core mechanics today. The last two episodes I've been working on this adventure here. It's a story where the players start in a village with a troll problem. The players are first tasked to gather ingredients or something similar to charge up an enormous light sword, which is later used by the troll hunters to hunt down the trolls. The twists in this story is that as the players scout ahead of the hunters, they find that the trolls are actually just complex, misunderstood beings. The troll problem is actually just a misunderstanding or something provoked by the humans, which just shows that the trolls aren't as evil as they're said to be. In the end, a battlefield is set with a mighty troll versus the hunters, and the players have to choose who they side with. If the hunters win, the players get praise and a big fancy monument, and if the troll wins, they get a new ally in the troll tribe, and they get a fancy new light sword. The troll here sits on the hunters to hide the evidence and act as a hidden tomb. Now, mechanics. How do we make the players do this, and how do we make it fun? Here's where OSR and PbtA comes in. For those who don't know, OSR is short for Old School Renaissance, and it started when some groups wanted to go back to the playstyle of the old D&D games such as 2nd edition. The game style of this genre is categorized by ruling, not rules, which means that they aren't rules for absolutely every situation in the game, but the GM continuously does judgment calls on how each situation is handled. This enables players to think creatively, which is further incentivized by sending them through extremely difficult dungeons with limited resources. It becomes a battle of wits, where if the players outsmart the GM, they win big. On the other end, there's PbtA, short for Powered by the Apocalypse. It began with the RPG called Apocalypse World in 2010, which focused on player-driven storytelling. The core mechanic of PbtA are the moves. Sometimes a character does something that triggers a move. You resolve the move by rolling 2d6, and on a 10+ you succeed, on a 7 to 9 you partially succeed. The point with this style is that the GM does not really have much to say in the story, and it's the players that dictate what happens next. There are even several adventures where the reaction of the world is codified into moves, so the GM has little to say on how the world reacts to the players. Note that this is a very brief and perhaps shallow explanation of what OSR and PbtA is. They are not only big pillars within the RPG community, but also very diverse, with games being on a spectrum on different playstyles. Of course, if you have an opinion regarding what OSR and PbtA is, please share it in the comment section. And while you're down there, please click the subscribe button. It really helps my channel. Now, one thing that you noticed already is that when I talked about OSR, I didn't really describe any mechanic, while PbtA is all about the move mechanic. This is also something in the core game design. OSR often features a wide variety of mechanics that encourage the OSR playstyle, while PbtA relies on the move mechanic to encourage the PbtA playstyle. With that said, let's look at the pillars I introduced in my previous video and see how to handle each pillar. One thing I've thought about is the angle OSR and PbtA has regarding characters. In my mind, in OSR, you as a player are an actor, while in PbtA you are a director. In OSR, it's your own knowledge, wits, and decisions that guide your character, and your character is more a vessel for you to explore the world. On the other hand, PbtA is more focused on moves and how to resolve moves in order to progress your story. In that sense, you are focused more on directing the character based on backstory and scenes rather than experience the character in the world. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have both in any game or that one is more immersive than the other. It's just two different approaches to being immersive. When it comes to this actor versus director type of playstyle, I'm leaning towards actor. This is also what aligns mostly with my pillars. In my head, this means that the players who interact with the game will focus on utilizing their resources in order to achieve their goals and hopefully survive in the process. On the other hand, I've been playing Savage Worlds for a while now, and the layout of the adventures are very interesting. You often have the minimal descriptions like dungeons in OSR games, but you more describe scenes rather than rooms. Each scene also has a set of triggers that trigger specific moves as a reaction to what the players do. It's very easy for a GM to navigate through an adventure, and it's easy for a GM to create adventures in the form of scenes and moves. Also, I've played Frostgrave before. It's a miniature game similar to Mordheim, but it also has a base building mechanic, which I liked. And I think the settlement building I want to implement in the game would benefit from a types of moves system. For instance, if the players rescue a merchant, they get access to a move that, when used, makes the merchant able to trade a specific resource to the players. All of this leads me to think that the player-specific pillars lean towards OSR type of playstyle, except for the dungeon crawling part, while the campaigns, adventures, and more specifically the world's reaction to the players should be built on moves, scenes, and other mechanics based on PbtA. So the answer to my question, what type of game genre should my game be, is why not both? I think I want to explore the boundaries of making rules and giving the GMs the opportunity to make their own custom rules more easily. I also want to explore how players can express themselves and interact with the world with creative freedom. Is this a good approach? It's a weird one for sure. Haven't seen it around that much, but then again, I haven't seen all the RPGs. Let me know down in the comments if you think this is a good or bad idea. And of course, like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell too. And don't forget to share this with your GM, they'll probably like it. See ya!